Ladies and gentlemen, this is TVP World. You're watching World News. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and these are the latest headlines. Poland, Sweden, and the UK have launched their air policing mission from the Polish city of Malbork. British and Swedish fighter jets have been deployed to Poland to patrol NATO's Eastern Flank. This came a day after Poland signed a $2 billion contract with the U.S. for logistical support for Patriot missile defense systems. Malbork in northern Poland is home to the 22nd Air Base of the Polish Armed Forces. Now, it hosts British Typhoon fighters and Swedish Gripen jets. Today, the latest tour of duty in the enhanced air policing mission in Malbork has been officially inaugurated by the Ministers of Defense of Poland and Sweden, as well as representatives from the United Kingdom. The mission marks the first deployment of the Swedish Air Force's combat aircraft since Stockholm joined NATO last year. The alliance's enhanced air policing mission was introduced in 2014 after Russia's illegal annexation of Crimea, aiming to serve as a deterrent.
NATO is a defensive alliance protecting our lands, our people, our values and our civilization. Within the alliance, we see each other as friends. All NATO member states are our allies. I would like to, in the presence of our friends from the United Kingdom and Sweden, confirm all of Poland's commitments to our NATO allies. All commitments arising from the Washington Treaty, with particular emphasis on Article 5. We will fulfill all alliance obligations toward our friends and expect the same in return, because NATO is solidarity.
This mission is a strong demonstration of cohesion and solidarity among allies and a powerful deterrent against Russian aggression. We are proud that it is our first air policing mission and it's based here in Poland. And we're also proud to be doing it together with the United Kingdom. Our three countries, Sweden, Poland and United Kingdom, shall have a unity of mission and a unity of purpose.
Today we stand together on Polish soil as friends and allies from three corners of the European continent with one clear message. Europe is stepping up for European security and we stand united as proof.
Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski, speaking at the Big Five meeting in Madrid, said Ukraine, not Russia, has a right to decide if it wants foreign troops on its territory. Sikorski also emphasized the need to establish a ceasefire deadline. Sonia Gata-Biszczan reports from Madrid.
Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski was in Madrid to meet with his counterparts. The overarching topics of the discussion included strengthening European security and enhancing assistance to Ukraine. Sikorski indicated that this meeting was an extension of the Weimar Triangle meeting held in Warsaw last year. On Monday, it included representatives from 7 countries as well as the EU top diplomat Kaja Kallas, who reflected on peace talks and Europe's next steps in that respect.
Russia is playing games and not really wanting peace. So our question is, how can we put more pressure on Russia?
Sikorski noted that the closer the countries are to Russia, the more likely they are to invest in defense. At the same time, he welcomed the expansion of what used to be the Weimar Triangle, as he said that this indicates that countries understand that Russia is a real threat not only to the Eastern Flank, but to Europe as a whole.
Russia is not only bombing in Ukraine, it is conducting a hybrid war against all of us. Here in Spain, there is disinformation, there are attempts at political manipulation, but in many countries we also have other elements of hybrid war just below the threshold of kinetic action.
This meeting was hosted by Spain, which invests approximately 1.3% of its GDP in defense, considerably less compared to Poland's 4.7% of its GDP planned for 2025. Nonetheless, this is the very reason why Spain wanted to host this meeting, to show that despite a more modest defense expenditure, it still takes security very seriously. From Madrid, for TVP World, I'm Sonia Gata-Biszczan.
Russia did not launch any drone strikes on Ukraine from Monday night to Tuesday morning, a rare break from its usual tactics. Now, this has sparked speculation over whether it's a response to recent criticism from Donald Trump directed at Vladimir Putin. The Ukrainian Air Force confirmed that Russia targeted the Zaporizhia region in southeastern Ukraine with 2 cruise missiles, both of which were shot down. Ukrainian news outlet Ukrainska Pravda suggested the pause in drone strikes could be linked to comments by U.S. President Donald Trump, who recently expressed frustration with Vladimir Putin and questioned the legitimacy of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Trump also threatened secondary sanctions on Russian oil if the conflict fails to reach a ceasefire. Andriy Kovalenko, head of Ukraine's Center for Counteracting Disinformation, cautioned that the pause may not indicate a change in Russian tactics. U.S. State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce says Vladimir Putin's calls to establish a temporary government in Ukraine were, quote, not appreciated by the U.S. president. Her remark came just a day after Trump's expressed anger over Putin's additional demands concerning Zelensky's presidency.
We do know that I think there was an idea from Russia about a temporary administration that was not appreciated by the president. Ukraine, I don't think I need to remind everyone, but it's a good reminder, is a constitutional democracy. Governance in Ukraine is determined by its constitution and the Ukrainian people. We are committed to the diplomacy necessary to achieve a full ceasefire and to bring the parties to the negotiating table for a final and lasting settlement. President Trump has made clear that Russia and Ukraine need to move to a full ceasefire now. None of that has changed.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has outlined her 3-pronged approach to tackle the tariff bazooka soon to be unveiled by U.S. President Donald Trump. It includes shoring up continental support to diversifying trade partnerships. We are joined live by our EU correspondent, Angela Skujins from Brussels. Angela, so what else can you tell us about this strategy?
Yes, so the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen announced that she had a plan to tackle this new trade portfolio soon to be announced and unveiled by US President Donald Trump on the 2nd of April. This is a day that he is dubbing Liberation Day. He has already slapped 25% tariffs on all aluminium, steel and car imports. We're expecting many more tomorrow, but according to the chief of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, she has a plan. Let's take a listen to what she had to say.
But my message to you today is that we have everything we need to protect our people and our prosperity. We have the largest single market in the world. We have the strength to negotiate. We have the power to push back. And the people of Europe should know that together we will always promote and defend our interests and our values, and together we will always stand up for our Europe.
Now, the guts of this strategy includes ensuring that the dialogue with Washington stays open, diversifying trade relationships, as well as strengthening the single market. We've had the EU's trade chief, that Commissioner Maros Sefcovic. He's had repeated trips to Washington to prevent the escalation of an all-out trade war. However, he's also recently travelled to Beijing, China. A readout from that meeting suggests that there is a fruitful relationships to be developed. Also, late last year, the EU inked a Mercosur agreement. This is to strengthen the trade partnerships with countries such as Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay and Brazil. But we'll have to wait and see what comes out of Liberation Day tomorrow and how the EU will respond further. But that's all from Brussels. I'll send it back to you in Warsaw.
Thank you so much, Angela, for this very comprehensive update. And of course, do keep us posted. Meanwhile, appreciate it. French far-right leader Marine Le Pen has vowed to appeal the Paris court's ruling that found her guilty of embezzlement and bar her from running in the 2027 French presidential election. Other European right-wing leaders have expressed their support for the French politician.
Le Pen aims to walk away from the scandal with her future candidacy unscathed. In an interview following the verdict's announcement, she has called the court's ruling a political decision.
I am eliminated, but in reality, it's millions of French people whose votes have been eliminated.
Le Pen has been the front-runner in opinion polls for the 2027 presidential election. With her out of the race, the far-right votes are up for grabs. But the leader of National Rally hopes appealing the court's ruling will allow her to return to the game. She's reluctant to let her party colleague, Jordan Bardella, step into her candidate's shoes and walk all the way to the Élysée Palace.
Jordan Bardella is a great asset for the movement, and I've said that for a long time. I hope that we won't need that asset earlier than necessary. But in the meantime, I am combative. I am not going to let myself be eliminated this way.
Le Pen and 24 members of her National Rally party were accused of diverting more than €4 million of European Parliament funds to pay France-based staff. The judges also handed Le Pen a 4-year prison sentence, of which 2 years are suspended and a €100,000 fine. Le Pen can already count on supportive words from her right-wing European colleagues.
On Marine Le Pen, I reiterate what I already said to Il Messaggero. No one who truly believes in democracy can rejoice over a sentence that hits the leader of a large party, depriving millions of citizens of their representation.
Je suis Marine. And even from the US president himself.
That's a big deal. That's a very big deal. I know all about it, and a lot of people thought she wasn't going to be convicted of anything, and I don't know if it means conviction, but she was banned for running for 5 years, and she's the leading candidate. That sounds like this country. That sounds very much like this country.
But the politicians' efforts to appeal the court's decision might be strenuous, as appeals in France can take months or even years.
And with that, we conclude this edition of World News. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.